Well, welcome back. We've been covering the breaking details of the death of Aaron Hernandez in his prison cell since very early this morning. But after the last few complicated years of his life since his arrest and through 2 trials, some thorny legal questions remain. And Boston criminal defense attorney Phil Tracy joins us now to walk us through what happens next.
Well, you know, this is a very, the story's not over. That's for sure. It's going to continue on. There's going to be civil action by the deceased families against the estate of Aaron Hernandez. So although the murder case of Odin Lloyd will be wiped away, there's still a jury has found him guilty. So for the families, a jury found him guilty. I know that it was an airtight case on appeal. I talked to the Bristol County DA's office. They did a great job in the trial. There wasn't going to be an overturning of that case.
Let me go a half step back here, because you mentioned how this will be vacated. Explain that, because I was actually, it's not something I knew about.
Yeah.
So because of these old laws, and because he had an appeal that was still pending, it wasn't official.
That's correct. Because,
so what does vacated mean?
Well, what this means is simply this, that until the Supreme Court puts its imprimatur on the jury verdict of guilty, the case is not over. And since they can't process the appeal, it goes back to the Superior Court, and then it is basically wiped off the books. It doesn't exonerate him as it would be if the Supreme Court said there was a miscarriage of justice in this case, and we find that the appeal is valuable and viable, and we wipe out the case. That's not what happened. It just goes back, and it's just taken off the books. But a jury found him guilty, and for the family, that's important. And for the civil cases going forward, they can restart those cases with a lesser burden of proof.
That's the question now. So even though he's dead and that case is vacated and he was acquitted last week, you're saying these civil lawsuits that are out there, those can move forward against his estate.
That is correct. Against his estate. Now, what we don't know is, and one theory is that he was running out of money. Obviously, he had some high-priced legal talent in both his first case and his second case, and now the appeal would cost a lot more money. So I just don't know that for a fact, but that was a theory, along with other theories, including something you mentioned about the baby being in the courtroom. Could that have upset him? We don't know. He lived a life of paranoia, I think, and it was evident in a lot of the evidence that we saw. Don't forget, he and Alexander Bradley got in a car. They followed 5 men out of a nightclub. For what reason? And then, even according to their definition, Bradley was the shooter, but I believe Hernandez was the shooter. But think about that, following 5 guys in another car and shooting up the car. It's vicious, it's violent. He killed Odin Lloyd, who was his buddy. He shot his friend Alexander Bradley in the face. Bad person.
What, as a defense attorney, when you saw the headline this morning, what was the first thing that went through your mind about the case and about what happened here?
Just what we're talking about today. There was no vindication for him, and there was just more tragedy for the families of the deceased. Now, these people aren't rich people. He was a rich person. He went from rags to riches, back to rags again. So he really, you know, he ruined his life, but I think he was mentally ill.
People are primarily concerned with the victims here, their families, what they're dealing with. We did, as you mentioned, see his fiancée, his 4-year-old in the court. His attorney, Jose Baez, said that he is the executor of the will now. So that will be his responsibility moving forward, right?
Absolutely. And you know, as I say, if there's a book or a movie or whatever, I hope that little girl gets something. I mean, growing up, imagine when she's 12 or 13 and finds out who her father was and how he died and what kind of life he lived. I think it'd be tough.
A lot of people were surprised that Cheyenne Jenkins, I don't think people even realized it, that she actually took his name.
She took his name.
They were never married, and I didn't know if that was something legal that would be
you know, I mean, I think she could do that, but there wasn't, as far as I know, there was no ceremony. You know,
it doesn't make a difference.
Sometimes people do get married in jail, but that didn't happen in this case.
I do think seeing that 4-year-old in court, it brought home to a lot of people, and then augmented by what happened today. What a tragedy, all of this.
What a really life thrown away, you know.
Phil Tracy, thanks for coming in to sort through the legal issues. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.